Today we're going to explore one of the most important foods of the Viking Age and early people in general. And yes, you guessed correctly, it is bread. You've seen me make these type of simple flatbreads in many of my early videos, and the flatbread often serves as a side dish to a stew or soup, adding filling and weight to the rest of the meal. I'm sorry, I'm having a little bit of a hard time concentrating. There is 10 or 12 small baby ducks right on the bank of the little lake here behind me. I think they're hoping to get some of the grains. We'll see if I can spare a few for them. In itself, I believe that the smell of freshly baked bread stirs something very deep inside us and connects us to a long line of history where this was an important part of our daily lives, but also our mere survival. In this video, we are going to take a look at how flour is produced, from actual grain to flour ready for baking. We are going to find out how to mill the grains and how long it actually takes to mill flour enough for a bread, and also how flour in the Viking Age is different from the flour you buy at the store today and you might take for granted. We might think of the Vikings as great warriors who battled and fought land and conquered the world, but first and foremost, they were farmers. This was the base of our civilization. We were farmers, we were merchants, and we were craftsmen. So sit back and grab your favorite drink or snack, and let's get started. In the Viking Age, farming was central to daily life, with wheat and barley and rye being some of the most crucial crops. Vikings cultivated the land using simple ploughs pulled by oxen or horses, preparing the soil for sowing. They practiced crop rotation and used manure to maintain soil fertility. Prøv en hånd ad gangen, så kan man lige løfte dem op, ligesom sådan salt og peber. Prøv at lægge dem i din hånd.
Ja. Okay,
Ja. I gør det fint.
Hvad har mere? Hold da op.
Kan du også hælde på, Nia?
Bare sådan. Hov. Ja.
Kan du give Nia noget mere?
Er det ikke nok? Lidt mere i min. Også.
Archaeological findings from Viking settlements such as Jorvik, or modern-day York, and Hedeby shows evidence of farming tools and techniques used during this period. The grain was sown in the spring and harvested in late summer and then threshed to separate the chaff from the grain. This labour-intensive process ensured a stable food supply, essential for surviving and trade. Once harvested, the grains needed to be milled into flour. The Vikings used quernstones, which were hand-operated millstones to grind the grains. So our flour has been through the mill 5 times now. It started out pretty coarse, but by the end of it, I think it became a really satisfying result. There is, of course, still some leftovers of the bran and the shell in here. And if I had a sieve, I guess I could take them out. I don't, so I think I will just let them stay and be part of the bread as more crunchy parts. One issue that I did find was that after a few spins of the mill, the finely grained flour filled up the grooves or the furrows in the mill, and I had to lift off the top stone, the runner stone, and brush out the furrows to get the super fine flour out of the furrows, so the mill could go for another round. But yeah, this is our result, and I'm pretty happy with this. This was around 300 grams of actual wheat grains that turned into this amount of flour that I believe will be enough to bake 2, maybe 3 small flatbreads. Archaeological excavations at sites like Birka in Sweden and various rural settlements in Denmark have uncovered numerous quernstones indicating their widespread use. At Birka, the discovery of quernstones alongside domestic artifacts suggests that the milling was a common household activity. This manual milling was time-consuming and required significant effort, turning the hard grains into fine flour suitable for baking. The resulting flour varied in coarseness, affecting the texture and the type of bread produced. Milling was an essential step in transforming the raw grains into a usable food ingredient. In the small river delta of Skjern in central Jutland, remains of what is believed to be a wooden watermill from the Viking Age has been found. Finds and archaeological history from the area suggests it was a very fertile and rich area with strong connections through trade and knowledge to modern-day northern Germany. Bork Vikingehavn, or Bork Vikingehavn, is a living history museum of the area with reconstructed houses and harbours and everything. They have reconstructed a water mill from the Viking Age based on these fragments and by following the ties to the German area and similar remains of local mills from the same time. There is, of course, some interpretation in this process, but there is strong indications that the watermill was known and in use in at least this particular place in Denmark during the Viking Age. A simple wooden watermill will harness the power of flowing water to grind the wheat and other grains into flour. The process begins with a water source, such as a river or a stream, which is diverted to flow through a mill race or channels towards the mill itself. The moving water turns a large wooden wheel, which is typically a vertical wheel with paddles. As the water hits the paddles, it causes the wheel to rotate. The rotating water wheel is connected to a main drive shaft. This drive shaft transfers the rotational energy generated by the wheel to the internal mechanisms of the mill. A carefully manufactured gear transforms the horizontal energy from the shaft into a vertical shaft and onwards to the upper level of the mill. Inside the mill, the drive shaft is connected to a pair of circular millstones. These millstones consist of a stationary bottom stone called the bedstone and a rotating top stone called the runner stone. The drive shaft's rotation causes the runner stone to spin on top of the stationary bedstone. Above the millstones, a wooden hopper holds the grains. The hopper funnels the grains into a chute, which feeds the grains into the center of the hole of the rotating runner stone. The flow of grains can be regulated to ensure a consistent grinding process. The intricate patterns carved into the surface of the stones help to catch and grind the grains, breaking them down into a fine flour. The ground flour moves outward to the edges of the stones due to the centrifugal force. The flour runs into a channel into a wooden container under the mill. It is then sifted to remove any remaining bran or larger particles, resulting in fine flour ready for use in baking. Depending on the grain itself, it might need to be processed through the millstones more than one time. The wooden watermill was an efficient and labour-saving device that uses the natural power of flowing water to perform the hard task of milling flour. And this showcases the ingenious application of technology in the Viking Age. It's simple and brilliant. I was able to visit the mill and get a demonstration by the good people in Bork. I had my daughters with me and we had a great day discovering and learning about Bork and the history and getting to understand the mill and how it worked. I was mesmerized by the sounds of the creaking water wheel, the dripple of water and the sound of the stones grinding the flour. It was such a great experience for all the senses. And I think my daughters were able to appreciate this as well. They talked a lot about it afterwards. To think that the Vikings were able to harness the power of water to develop their agriculture, and in doing so, also their political landscape, is a really eye-opening thought. In the end, we got to bake some simple flatbreads from the flour we just milled, and we had a cozy time by the fire talking to the miller, who patiently answered all our questions. We enjoyed the rest of the day in Bork, and it's a great place on the windy west coast at the bottom of the fjord, and if you happen to be in the area, you should definitely give it a visit. There is 2 demonstrations daily of the mill, and the rest of the place is equally stunning and a very important dot on the map of the Viking world. Bread was a staple in the Viking diet, providing a reliable source of carbohydrates. The breads were baked in simple clay ovens or over open fire. Archaeological findings from sites like Ribe in Denmark and the Viking Age town of Dublin has revealed remnants of bread and bacon ovens. In Ribe, remains of charred bread has been found in association with domestic hearths, indicating the importance of bread in daily meals. Similarly, in Dublin, the remains of clay ovens and bread fragments suggest that bread baking was a routine activity in the Viking household. But not everybody had access to a clay oven, and today in modern reenactment, the flatbread has become widely popular as a loyal companion to many meals cooked by the fire, perhaps for its simplicity and very short cooking time. Now we have our dough here, and it's nice and spongy, and I can tell you the smell is absolutely amazing. The freshly grained wheat and the beer and the salt just makes for a really, really delicious dough. I'm going to let this rest now for a few minutes before forming the flatbreads. I can tell you that this bread smells amazing. The smell of the grain itself is so strong. Of course, it's a pretty coarse flour and a pretty coarse bread, but but fried or baked in the frying pan with butter, the smells are fantastic. And with this fresh cheese that I just mixed up with some fresh asparagus and some ramson and a bit of flaky salt spread on top, this is an amazing snack. I wish I could take you all in here now with me, and I could share with you guys. Maybe one day this could be possible, but right now I feel almost guilty for having such a fantastic snack all for myself. But you can do this too. You can bake this kind of bread as well, and you will be amazed. This is fantastic. So the Viking Age flatbread with freshly grained flour made on the small hand mill that we have here, and roasted in a frying pan over the open flame. I don't know what more to wish for. So I'm gonna sit now and enjoy my meal while the bread is still steamy warm. So as we have learned, the agriculture behind the huge production of grains for flour and bread must have been strong in the Viking Age, as we see it in the many finds of farming equipment, millstones, mills and ovens. It took around 10 to 15 minutes to grind enough flour to make these flatbreads you see here. And as you can clearly see here, the flour we just milled is more coarse and dark than the modern flour you buy today. But I do like the more rustique taste and feel to the flour we just made. It is inevitable that small pieces of sand or stone will remain in the flour even after thrashing and milling, both from the field but also small tiny fragments of the millstone, and this will be hard on the teeth. In fact, we can see it from the skeletons from the Viking Age, that their teeth were very often worn a lot, probably caused to a wide extent from eating coarse flour like this. So promise me to be mindful if you want to experiment with making your own Viking style flour at home. I really hope you enjoyed this journey, and I would like to thank you for sticking along till the end. Don't forget to subscribe, click the little like button, hit the notification bell, and feel free to leave a comment or ask me questions about what you saw in this video. And I will get back to you and try to answer to the best of my ability. Because it really helps the algorithm to let other people know that you had a good time watching this video. Then YouTube will offer this video to future potential viewers. If you want to support my channel, please consider becoming a Patreon and join a small tight-knit community and get access to bits of exclusive content and early access now and then. If you are new to my videos or you would like to continue watching, I would like to suggest these two videos for you that I think you would find very interesting.